Doug Ford is calling the meeting he and his fellow premiers had with the Prime Minister the best he's ever attended. Prime Minister Mark Carney met the provincial and territorial premiers yesterday in Saskatoon to discuss possible major projects that the federal government could potentially fund or fast-track. Our senior reporter, Mike Crawley, was watching all of this for us. And Mike, what are the most significant things that came out of this First Minister's meeting?
Well, look, Dwight, the Prime Minister asked the premiers to show up to this meeting with basically a list of what he described as nation-building projects. And so Doug Ford's list included things like the Ring of Fire mineral deposit in Northern Ontario, new nuclear power plants, a deep-sea port in James Bay, and, of course, the Doug Ford's idea of a tunnel under Highway 401 through Toronto. Now, Ford says that nobody particularly expected that the meeting was going to end with Prime Minister Carney greenlighting any specific projects. But what Doug Ford says did emerge from the meeting is a broad agreement about what the premiers and the Prime Minister feel should happen to boost the country's economy in the face of the threats from Donald Trump. Now, while there's still certainly some points of contention among the premiers, in particular with regards to pipelines that would cross provincial borders, Doug Ford says that all the people around the table, the Prime Minister, the premiers, are what he called willing partners. And he also said that the people of Canada are suggesting that they are willing partners in all of this. Ford says Trump is the reason. And what you'll find, though, kind of interesting here when you take a listen to this clip is Doug Ford is saying some of the things that should be done in the face of Donald Trump are things that Doug Ford has been pushing since he became premier. Take a listen.
We have to create the environment and conditions for companies to come here and invest. If we continue putting red tape and regulations and high taxes, guess what? No one's going to come and invest. But we're all confident, and I'm confident with the leadership of the Prime Minister, that he's creating that environment and conditions for people to come here and companies to come here and invest and tell the world Canada's open for business.
And some of the themes that you're hearing there from Doug Ford are also a part of what he's trying to put forward in his Bill 5 here at Queen's Park.
Mike, where do things go from here, though? How soon until the feds let the premiers know which projects they might be backing?
Yeah, well, Prime Minister Carney gave an indication that he wants to get moving on this quickly, that the feds are going to bring forward some legislation that they're describing in some ways very similar to Bill 5, one project, one review system for major national projects. So we could be seeing some action fairly quickly, and they want to get these projects approved within a window of a couple of years. However, there is some opposition from First Nations leaders, and happened to be that here at Queen's Park yesterday, there was a demonstration that was specifically in opposition to Bill 5, but the First Nations leaders who spoke pointed out their lack of an invitation to sit down with the First Ministers in Saskatoon. Take a listen.
I urge the National Chief to convene an emergency meeting of leadership in the country, First Nations leadership, and bring forward a list of demands that we will place before the governments, provincial and federal government, in the same way that Premier Daniel Smith has done so.
And the chief who you saw beside Phil Fontaine there in that shot is actually the Assembly of First Nations national chief. So there's definitely some consensus among First Nations leaders that they've got concerns about this attempt to fast-track projects on a national level.
Our senior reporter, Mike Crawley. Thank you, Mike.